you want to explore some different perspectives on these topics,
Okay.
you should check out this YouTube channel called Mindful Moments.
What's that about?
They do these really cool AI audiobook analyses.
Oh, that seems interesting.
Okay, let's start with this image. Your arm is deep inside a cow. You're searching for a calf. The water's cold, maybe a bit bloody,
Ah,
and the calf's legs feel like sandpaper. Your arm's aching. It's such a raw opening.
it really is. That's James Herriot in All Creatures Great and Small, right? Instantly throws you into the thick of it.
Exactly. No detachment. You're right there feeling the physical grit of being a young vet in Yorkshire.
And that's what we're diving into today, isn't it? Looking at these excerpts you shared, the stories he tells.
Yes. We want to pull out the insights, the memorable bits about dedication, learning on the job, the rewards you find even in really tough work.
All set against that backdrop of the Yorkshire Dales.
And maybe we'll touch on these little moments of observation, these sort of mindful moments that give a deeper understanding.
It's a great source for that. His book is basically a collection of his own experiences, right? Very personal, often funny look at animal care and community.
So let's jump into those early challenges he faced. Right away, he's dealing with skepticism.
Oh, yeah. That difficult calving case, for example.
He's clearly struggling, a bit out of his depth maybe, and the farmer, the uncle, is watching him.
And doubting him. Doubting the book learning compared to hands-on experience.
It's that classic tension, isn't it? Theory versus practice.
Definitely. And you can see the farmer's point of view, I guess. High stakes, tradition. Uncle just dismisses Harriet's careful approach.
Suggests just pulling the calf out, which sounded pretty risky.
Exactly. Tradition versus, a more cautious veterinary method. You feel Harriet's frustration on those cold cobbles.
But even in that struggle, you see him start to build resilience.
Yeah, that's not all struggle. There are these small wins, like the horse with the infected foot.
Yes. Draining the abscess.
And the farmer just grunts, he'll get relief now. It's small, but it's a sign of earning trust.
A quiet acknowledgement in a world where results are what matter.
Proving himself, step by step.
Okay, so this new vet arrives in Derby. What's Skeldale House like? And the people there?
Well, his arrival is kind of haphazard, isn't it?
He just shows up.
Pretty much. Mrs. Hall, the housekeeper, seems surprised to see him. Sets the tone, really. A bit unconventional, but welcoming eventually.
And then Siegfried Farnan makes his entrance. Quite the character.
Definitely. Forgetful, for one thing.
Yeah.
Had no idea Harriet was even arriving that day.
Right. And that voice. Most English, Harriet calls it.
Giving the grand tour of this tiny dispensary.
Filled with all those old bottles and remedies. What were some of them?
Oh, things like sweet spirits of niter, tincture of camphor, standard stuff back then before modern drugs.
And Siegfried seemed almost affectionate towards them.
He did, like a relics from another era. He had this real enthusiasm, almost a reverence for these old ways.
But that enthusiasm could turn into pretty high expectations for James, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The dynamic is clear from the start. Siegfried's the boss. James is the newcomer trying hard to measure up.
A real trial by fire, you could say.
Often with that understated humor, Harriet is so good at capturing.
So let's step outside the practice. What about the community, the landscape? That first drive with Farnan sounds memorable.
It certainly does. Farnan's driving is erratic because he's completely absorbed by the countryside.
Not the road.
Barely. He's pointing out cattle, admiring the views, totally lost in the scenery. It shows how much of the landscape is part of their lives.
And Harriet's descriptions are just stunning. You really get a sense of the Yorkshire Dales.
The crisp air he mentions, the big views from Brinkstone Pass, those lonely farms way out in Silldale.
You feel him shedding the city, kind of embracing this wilder place.
That sense of place is so strong, it really shapes the people, too, the farmers he meets.
How does he describe them?
Often friendly, but maybe a bit reserved. There's this sort of philosophical acceptance of hardship. Well, these things happen. That kind of attitude.
Resilient. Now, a big moment for any new vet, the first solo case. That sounds intense.
It was Mr. Soames and his colicking horse.
And Soames wasn't exactly easy to deal with.
Not at all. Abrasive, thought he knew best. Insisted Harriet use Ercoline.
But Harriet knew that could be dangerous, right? If the horse had a torsion, a twisted gut.
Exactly. So it's this real clash. Harriet's knowledge versus Soames' aggressive certainty. Under pressure.
He had to stand his ground, explain the risks, even with Soames threatening to call Farnan.
You really feel the tension, but he handles it.
And the horse gets better.
Yes. And that success, managing that difficult situation alone, must have been a huge confidence boost. A quiet win.
Absolutely. But it's not all tense situations and difficult farmers, is it? There are moments of kindness, too.
Oh, definitely. That warmth comes through, like farmers slipping eggs or butter into his car.
Small gestures, but significant.
They speak volumes, and then there are more profound stories, like Miss Stubbs and her old pets.
That was really touching. And how Mrs. Broadwith takes them in after Miss Stubbs passes away.
It shows that deep bond between people and animals and this sort of quiet compassion in the community.
That chain of care. And what about Mr. Worley, just sitting and talking?
Appy is King of England. Just finding joy and simple connection, it gives the book so much heart.
These moments, these connections, they feel like those mindful moments we talked about earlier. Just being present.
Exactly. Observing and appreciating the simple things. Which, actually, speaking of observation and connection, listeners might find more on similar themes over on Mindful Moments and our podcasts. It's an AI audiobook analysis channel on YouTube that explores ideas like that.
Good point. Now, alongside the heartwarming stuff, there's also plenty of humor, right? Some really absurd situations.
Oh, definitely. Siegfried managing to terrify poor Mrs. Seton with a post-mortem knife comes to mind.
Classic. And what about Tristan, Siegfried's brother?
Always getting into scrapes. The disastrous hen-keeping experiment. The mystery of the missing practice money.
And Siegfried's reactions must have been priceless.
Completely exasperated. That sibling dynamic is so relatable, even in a vet practice.
Harriot gets caught up in it too, doesn't he? Like falling asleep during a piglet delivery.
Yes. And the farmer's dry comment about it. Or the encounter with Angus Greer and that Infinix rubber calving suit.
That image is unforgettable.
Totally bizarre. And Mr. Hanshaw trying to raise cows with terrible advice from his neighbors, it's often the absurdity that makes it so funny.
Even Mrs. Pimphrey thinking her pig is sick when it's just, well, being a pig.
It captures that mix of the serious work and the completely comical side of life and dealing with people and animals.
And amidst all this, Harriet's own life is developing, relationships are forming. Helen Alderson, particularly.
Yes, that relationship weaves through the stories really nicely. It's quiet, builds gradually.
The cinema trip, those comfortable silences he describes, it feels very real.
It does. Not overly dramatic, just a genuine connection growing.
And the proposal to her father, Mr. Alderson. A bit awkward, very Harriet.
Exactly. Sincere but slightly stumbling. And then the wedding day itself, finding happiness in the familiar pub, the Wheat Sheaf. It feels grounded. It really emphasizes community and personal connection, both in his work and outside it. Even the practice itself, chaotic as it is, has this underlying support.
So we have the humor, the relationships, the challenges, but underlying it all is this incredible dedication, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You can't escape how demanding the work is.
The long hours, awful weather sometimes, difficult conditions, emotionally tough cases.
It takes real commitment. But you always sense that passion for the animals, that drive to help them. That's what fuels him and Siegfried.
So when we step back and look at these stories, what are the positive takeaways, the bigger ideas?
Well, perseverance, definitely. Sticking with it when things are tough.
In the value of practical experience, learning by doing, alongside the book knowledge.
Right. And the strength you find in community, those connections we talked about.
And ultimately, finding deep satisfaction in work that feels meaningful, even when it's covered in mud.
Precisely. It shows how dedication and connection can bring reward even in the messy parts of life.
It makes you think, doesn't it? Maybe a final thought for listeners. What are those small moments in your own life? The everyday challenges or connections?
The ones that might seem unimportant at first glance.
Yeah. But if you look closer, maybe they reveal something deeper about your own dedication or the world around you. Those quiet efforts, the unseen wins.
Finding the significance in the ordinary, like Herriot does.
So if you enjoyed exploring these stories with us, please do subscribe for more discussions like this.
And maybe share this with someone who'd appreciate a trip to the Yorkshire Dales through Herriot's eyes.
We've also put a link in the description if you want to grab a copy of All Creatures Great and Small and read the full stories yourself.
And as always, take these ideas away with you. Think critically about the stories, the lessons. How might they resonate with your own experiences?
Until next time, think critically.